blanket ban on Petcoke. So this is one issue. Petcoke, there is one article in Live Mint on 28th November and Business Line yesterday. So we are going to deliberate on blanket ban on Petcoke, and the Petcoke ban, it is inferred in several ways. Let us see. First one is Supreme Court banned the use of Petcoke in some states of NCR region. So examine its implications. So first of all, what is meant by Petcoke? Petcoke is nothing but petroleum coke. So here the crude oil is refined. So the crude oil during various stages of refinement, you have seen diesel, petrol, kerosene, like that, and the final product is a solid material, that is petroleum coke, right? So Petcoke is petroleum coke, and it is highly rich in carbon, or you can say carbon rich solid material which comes out of these petroleum refineries, or you can say this is the end product coming out of petroleum refineries, and it is the carbon rich solid material that derives from oil refining. So these are the residues obtained after petroleum processing, and it contains 90% carbon, and it emits 5 to 10% more carbon dioxide than coal on per unit of energy basis. If you look at it from weight basis, there are two ways to look at it. If you look at it at weight basis, it emits around 30 to 80% more carbon dioxide, which is greenhouse gas. But the biggest problem is with the sulfur pollution. We are going to look at it a short while from now. So this is about how the carbon dioxide is released because of the burning of Petcoke. Then why is it into the news? Recently, Supreme Court restricted the use of Petcoke in Rajasthan, Uttar Pradesh and Haryana, basically to curb pollution in Delhi area. Then in recent years, favorable cost, or you can say why the use of Petcoke increased in recent times. Or you can say in recent times the cost of Petcoke reduced drastically because the crude oil prices reduced after 2014. So therefore, accordingly, Petcoke price also reduced. Because of the reason, Petcoke is the last end product of this refining of crude oil. So here at present, more than 70% of the fuel requirement, I am talking about cement companies. Cement companies started using this Petcoke. There are several reasons for it. One reason is the cost reduced drastically. So because of that, cement companies started using this Petcoke. At present, 70% of the requirement is met through Petcoke, right? As far as cement industry is concerned, Petcoke prices fallen to $40 per ton in 2016, and moreover, on the usage of coal, there is a clean energy cess of rupees 400 per ton on coal. This further accelerated the shift to Petcoke, right? And the most important aspect is, we have seen the carbon dioxide emissions, but the most important aspect is the sulfur content. Here, the sulfur content, it has got 75,000 ppm. So this is the dirtiest fuel, or you can say one of the dirtiest fuels on earth. So with the 75,000 ppm of sulfur, if you see coal, it is just 4,000 ppm of sulfur. And when coal is burnt nowadays, from the coal burning in power plants, you can take out the sulfur content, you can separate the sulfur content. Here you see this Petcoke, it is 75,000 ppm of sulfur. And in 2010-11, you see how the usage of Petcoke increased. In 2010-11, only 5 million tons of Petcoke was consumed. But by 2016-17, it has gone up to 23 million tons. So it increased from 5 million tons to 23 million tons, with imports accounting for significant share of it. right? Then Indian petcoke, high sulfur content. In comparison to the petcoke of other countries, Indian petcoke has got more sulfur content because of the reason Indian refineries use some sort of heavier and dirtier crude. There are different types of crude in the refineries, oil refineries. In Indian refineries, we use the dirtiest and heaviest crude. That's why here the sulfur content in Indian petcoke is higher in comparison to other countries. That is one point you should not miss. Here the Indians use cheaper crude, which is typically heavier and dirtier. India is the second largest refiner of crude in Asia after China. Please don't forget, our refining capacity is 234 million tons per annum, and we in fact export the finished refinery products also. And here, as per Bharat Stage 6 norms in future, as per Bharat 6 norms in the fuel, the sulfur content should not exceed 10 ppm just. So in future, when country switches over to Bharat Stage 6, then the sulfur content will be minimized to 10 ppm in the fuel. At present, as per Bharat 4 norms, I hope it is 50 ppm. So from 50 ppm as per Bharat 4, it will be reduced to 10 ppm in Bharat 6. So Bharat Stage 6 norms. So it will be reduced to 10 ppm. So therefore, in future from 2020, in the petcoke, sulfur content may further increase, right? So in fact, the sulfur allowed in the fuel in 1990s is 10,000 ppm as per the news report. So let us go ahead. Why is it used in cement industry? Why the petcoke is used in cement industry? You see, globally, 28% of petcoke is used in cement industry. There is a reason for it. In cement kilns, limestone is burnt to over 1500 degrees centigrade. When the limestone is burnt to 1500 degrees centigrade, then it will produce clinker, and subsequently that clinker is grinded to produce cement. Here, when petcoke is used, what happens? The lime in the clinker absorbs the sulfur, because lime and sulfur have got natural affinity. So when petcoke is used for this burning of this limestone, lime absorbs sulfur because lime and sulfur have got affinity. So because of this, what happens? The sulfur which is thrown out is below the permissible limits. So the sulfur content in the final product, you can say the sulfur which is thrown out after this burning will have lesser content, because limestone absorbs this sulfur, because lime has got affinity to sulfur. Then what are the other advantages? Here, as per the news report, petcoke has zero ash content. Here, cement firms can use low-grade limestone. In India, 60% of India's limestone reserves are having this low grade as far as limestone is concerned, and if coal is used as a fuel, they cannot be used because of the reason coal has got significant ash content. The point to note here is, for the low grade, or you can say for the low grade limestone also, for the low grade limestone, the best option is petcoke, but not coal, because petcoke has got lesser, or you can say zero ash content, right? So when the low quality limestone is to be used, the best option is to use the petcoke instead of coal. Then what are the hurdles in switching over to coal now? Because government, or you can say Supreme Court, banned it in 3 states, and there is also a news report that in future in the entire country, the use of this petcoke may be banned. Here the important point to note is, new coal linkages are not available for cement industry. So when the petcoke is banned, then the cement industry has to look for coal, but coal linkages is not available for this cement industry. The cost of linkage coal is cheaper, but the coal available is of a grade which can be used only for captive power plants and not suitable for use in kilns. And another thing is, if the coal is purchased through e-auction, then the cost may go up by 30 to 40% in comparison to linkage coal. At the same time, availability of sufficient quantity is also a challenge. So therefore, if it is a switching over to coal, then what happens? The costs of producing cement may increase. Then what the National Green Tribunal recently said? Recently, National Green Tribunal asked the states to take a decision whether petcoke is an approved fuel or not, and to ensure that necessary pollution control systems to reduce sulfur emissions. So the biggest problem of this petcoke is sulfur emissions, right? Let us conclude here. Have a nice day. Thank you.